I know you talked about Let It Get Burned.
Let it burn.
And you were talking about weaponizing the dollar. You got like a lot of feedback with that one. A lot of people were saying that
I need to go look at that.
yeah, it was someone said retirement wasn't talked about to those entering now. They were told that Social Security was their retirement. What if they change it on you? Taxes and all of that other stuff. Someone said I don't mind paying for people who need basic things in life. What I do mind is all of the other BS that they're doing with my tax money.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. So the person, I want to touch the first one. Did we talk about Social Security on that clip?
Yeah.
What did I say?
I can't remember specifically, but that's what all the comments are about, the Social Security.
I'm going to have to go back and look because I think it was something along the lines of when we retire, we won't have Social Security. Or privatizing Social Security. It was privatizing Social Security, maybe. But I'll go back and look, and I'm going to comment on all those. A couple of things. That comment about the Social Security is a lack of financial literacy. Anyone who's financially literate knows that you need to invest in multiple areas and diversify. So if we're only relying on the government, that's a terrible mindset because the government is very inefficient, which the IRS proves since they have an $80 billion budget with a $10 billion loss.
Yes.
So they're terribly inefficient.
$30 billion just sitting there.
So never rely on the government. You should never try to rely on anyone. You should rely on your hard work, and that's it. What was the next comment? So the Social Security one, I think I feel bad for anybody who doesn't get Social Security or won't be able to get Social Security, or if we let it burn, then Social Security payments stop coming. We'll go to a bartering system. I'm sorry, but at some point we have to rip the Band-Aid off, and some people are going to be hurt by that. And that sounds very callous, but like if we want to hurt our grandchildren, our grandchildren's grandchildren, we can keep doing what we're doing. Somebody at some point has to pay the piper. Period. And
I don't think that the government thinks that we'll stick around long enough to receive it.
Our generation won't.
No, there's no chance.
Like it's in a massive deficit. Like Social Security is in a massive deficit because guess what the government did? They taxed us with the Social Security tax, and then they started taking money out and putting IOUs in, like, oh, we owe Social Security, and then they never replaced the money. So then Social Security, which was supposed to be an investment that's growing constantly, guess what happened?
No,
it didn't grow like it was supposed to. Also, the age of life is a lot longer now, so people don't think about this. We live longer, so you need to up the age of Social Security because when Social Security was originally created, you got it at like 64 or 65. I think it might have been 61 originally, but they upped it to 64, 65 when you're now eligible for it, and people were dying at 74. 67, 68, 69. People live into the 80s now, and the average age of life has increased exponentially. So you need to update the age you can receive it at as well. And if people don't want to work until they're 80 years old or 70 years old, well, educate yourself on a skill that is going to pay more.
I don't see people agreeing with that comment, but
why?
Like pushing it to what age? 80?
No. I'm saying if you don't want to have to work that long because Social Security is a failing system, or pushing it to 70, I think it should be at 70 at this point.
Yeah.
If you don't want to work till 70 to receive retirement, then get into a career that is going to do a 401k with a 3% match, like loan officer career. Get an education in a trade or something that pays more, that allows you to invest in a private form of retirement investing, because relying on the government money is not going to work well for you. And it's such a small amount of money too.
You know, I like Jordan Peterson. He has,
yeah, we know after that shitty email you sent last week.
This is a good one. So he came out and he has said that he told his kids, he said, I would rather you not go to college, go to trade school instead. He's told his kids that.
I've told my wife that. I said, I'm not sending my kid to college so they can graduate and make
disagree.
$40K a year.
Like,
when they could go to 2 years of trade school and make $100.
Right.
Like, and then you're also learning real life skills. Like, I was talking to our intern about this. Like, we're running a business. They did not teach us how to run a business in business school. No. So I paid $120,000 to go to business school, and they didn't even teach me how to run a business. They taught me theories.
Right.
Theories that a lot of them aren't practical.
And are outdated by the time you're actually doing things. It's
back in the day, like sports, the sports journal. What was it? The business sports journal. I forget what it's called. Sports business journal. It was a newspaper, and that's what we were learning about in sports marketing and sport economics was from a newspaper. Like it's all online now. Like, and it was online within 2 years of us graduating. It's outdated. You're 100% correct. Yes, I don't think people. Let me clarify. I don't think people should have to work until they're 80. I think that the age of Social Security needs to be up to 70. And if you are waiting to retire based on when you can receive Social Security, that shows your lack of financial literacy. And that's not meant as an insult. Being ignorant doesn't mean that you're dumb. It means you just weren't taught and you just don't know. And that can and cannot be your fault.
We just talked about education, not teaching real world values.
Well, and here's the other piece. It's not your fault up until you're 18, but once you hit 18 and start kind of going off on your own, or whatever age you start going off on your own, if you aren't teaching yourself at that point, that is your fault. I teach myself stuff all the time. I read a book a month, multiple podcasts, a lot of different things. So
we'll see what feedback that is. I feel like I get like mixed reviews.
I don't get good feedback.
Right.
But the problem is I don't think that people watch our full episodes. I think they're just seeing those short form clips. I think that if they watched the full episodes and got to know me, I would come off differently.
Think so?
I do.
Okay.
If they actually hear me.
Or they watch the entire thing.
If they hear me, yeah. I mean, maybe not. Or they're just lazy and they don't want to work. I don't know. That could be.
I just think that that's going to get like a lot of feedback because I remember we talked about, I was looking at some of our old clips and you talked about how Americans were fat, lazy. And
they are fat and lazy. Right.
So
I mean,
of course,
54% of our country
are not going to want to. They're not going to want to push it like further. If anything, they're going to want to like bring it up even more, like bring it back to maybe 61 or something. Who knows? But that's just what I think that they'll say. I don't know.
I'm going to respond to this if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I like to respond to stuff like this because it gets them going. There are countries all over the world that are socialist countries that you get a stipend and you get things and you get to stop working at a certain age and so on and so forth. They should go live there. Like they really should. Like America's not for them. Like America's for, we were founded, like our principles and how we became as a country, like there was just a different mindset. We weren't soft, we weren't weak, we weren't lazy. We did things differently than the rest of the world, which created the greatest country in the entire world to this day. Now, there are some foundation cracks in there because new theories and new thoughts were brought into what was once America, and it's changing things. But, like, listen, if you don't enjoy working hard, you don't have to work hard. You can go to a million other places where you have a decent quality of life, where it's more of a socialist economy. Go. Bye. Peace. Like, we're America. We always have been, and don't want to break it to them, but we're not going socialist. If anything, we're going corporatism. So, yeah.
I'll end it with this. I saw a tweet on Twitter, and someone said, working harder is easier than being poor.
It is.
And I agree.
100%.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What was your upbringing like? Did you guys have a bunch of money? Were you rich?
No, not really. Nope. Just average family. 2 boys, 2 girls. Yeah. Mom, dad.
So you work pretty hard. You have 2 jobs.
3.
3? What in the hell?
You have a third now?
Yeah.
3 jobs. So why do you do that?
Multiple reasons, honestly. Like I want to I want to teach myself like discipline for one, and then 2, like I'm learning the value of hard work. In my opinion.
What makes you want to learn the value of hard work? That's a trait I see in you. What makes that in you?
I don't think I took it serious when I was younger, and now I just kind of like feel the need to like get certain things accomplished.
So when we say,
and maybe it's an age thing because I'm 30 now, so I kind of look at life differently. But
it feels like you're on the clock once you hit 30.
Yeah, it does. It kind of does.
Yeah. So when I say something along the lines that a lot of like Twitter or I don't know about Twitter. Twitter's a little bit more open, but TikTok won't agree with, or a certain generation of people won't agree with. Like, hey, if you don't like the circumstance you're in, change your circumstance. Do you agree or disagree?
I completely agree, 100%.
So you believe that people can change their circumstance if they focus on it and try to get better.
You work hard enough, yep, you can.
I mean, I just had never asked you that before, so I was just wondering, and I kind of knew just based off our conversations. I know you agree. You and I have gone on that. It just, that statement right there is controversial. You know that?
It's crazy.
How?
Does that if you work hard, you can change your circumstance? People don't agree with that. Like, am I wrong? You're on social media. He's not on social media like you and I are.
Right.
Do they not like take offense to that?
Yeah, I mean, so many things get traction nowadays. People don't really want to work hard. They rather it come to them a lot easier. And right now, I think the trending thing that a lot of people are talking about is, are you considered productive or free-spirited if you like work somewhere and you don't want to be there, so you just quit after a certain amount of time? Like, people are like, oh, be free. If you don't like a job, quit it and just keep finding another one. But some people are like, but you can just work hard at this job. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like job hopping for 3 years, you could have put in that work at one place, moved up, things like that.
Well, and then also if you're job hopping for, say, 3 years, that's bad on the resume, and you're
100%.
less likely to get hired at the job you actually do want. So, like, one of the things I say, too, is, like, even if you don't want to do it, be the best at it while you're doing it. And that's the attitude I always took. I hated reviewing the NMLS numbers when I first got into mortgage. It was literally a spreadsheet, and I would have to go to NMLS Consumer Access, which is still the same exact website 13 years later. And I would have to check to make sure that they were active in the system because they had no way of doing it system-wise. And I did that all day. But my goal every day, there was one other person who was hired, who's a friend of ours, and we would get half the list, and my goal every day was to beat him, like be first done. I hated it, though, and I was always done by lunchtime, and I just sat around the rest of the day, so they paid me not to do anything. But I didn't leave just in case we had some stuff come in and we could get it done early, whatever. But while I was doing that, then I would start – I remember asking, can I review guidelines? Where can I see the guidelines? And I would review guidelines while I sat there. And then, so I would do things like that, and I hated that job. And then I went into an underwriting role, and you can vouch for this. I hated underwriting.
Yeah, you still do.
I still hate it. Yeah, I don't like it. Like, I know the guidelines, but I don't like the actual process of the job. It's not for me. It is for some people. You can do it. Sarah can do it. I know a lot of people who can do it. I hate it. I did not like it. It wasn't for me. So I went ahead and did my best for like 4 or 5 years at that. And then I went out and started my own business, like, and went completely on my own, like, said, screw it. If I don't make any money and I fail, I'm going to learn the lesson here. It's the best thing I ever did because that created the freedom. I worked hard at certain things. I learned certain, I learned certain, like, how to be a professional, how, because I think being a professional is very important. How to be a professional in a work environment. And then I learned when I made the jump to entrepreneurship full time and I wasn't answering to anybody, I learned true freedom. So I work more hours now, but I truly feel more free.